January 1st, 2024, Hawaii passed a new law. All right. Hawaii passed this. It says a new gun law goes into effect across Hawaii on January 1st, 2024 that will require people who want to get a handgun permit to first complete a safety training course taught by a verified instructor. This goes for all of Hawaii. This was January 1st this year, 2024, that this went into effect. Now, a lot of people have been talking about, gun laws and the way things may be changing and the attack of, our Second Amendment rights and things like that, especially with the election coming up and the possibility that that could be a sway for who people vote for. It could be something that could be a determining factor of who wins the presidency, their thoughts on gun control versus not gun control, if you will. I do want to say that by law, Hawaii is a licensed open carry state, but since licenses are rarely issued, the state is non-permissive for open carry in practice, meaning they're technically an open carry state, but you have to get a license to open carry. So if they're not giving out the licenses, it kind of defeats the purpose of being an open carry state. They have found loopholes to keep you Hawaiians from actually being able to use your constitutional rights, if you will. Now, there are states that have banned firearms. We all know this. 44 states have a provision in their state constitutions similar to the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which protects the right to keep and bear arms. The exceptions for this are California, Iowa, Maryland, Minnesota, New Jersey, and New York. The other hand is holding the iPad. I can't show 6 fingers at once. Hawaii is not listed on there, so I do want to point that out. Now, the most gun-friendly states, for those of you who may be curious and may be thinking of relocating in the future and are trying to consider or decide on what place you might want to live, maybe the gun-friendly states may be your option. So New Hampshire is surprisingly ranked the #1 thanks to its incredibly relaxed gun laws, low crime rates, and lack of state sales tax. West Virginia is #2 due to recent legislative actions to remove firearm restrictions and reduce sales tax on firearms and ammunition. And what's interesting to me there is a lot of people say that, these states that have open carry, these states that have, you don't need a permit, these states that allow, just willy-nilly with the guns, if you will, are going to have high crime rates and all this other stuff. Well, according to this, New Hampshire, which is #1 for the most gun-friendly state with the most relaxed gun laws, also has low crime rates. So those two things you would think would not go hand in hand. So are we being bamboozled, if you will, every single time a politician jumps on stage or on a screen or on a whatever and says, these relaxed gun laws are why crime is so high? Well, New Hampshire, low crime rates, relaxed gun laws. I'm very curious right now what they mean by that. So I want to point out to you something that has transpired in Hawaii, right? The whole reason we're here is to talk about Hawaii. So let me pull these things up here. I've got a couple little notes, if you will. Now, this is from capital.hawaii.gov. This is the Hawaii State Legislature, and this is SB 3196. You may not be aware of it, but I'm going to explain to you what it is. The measure title is relating to firearms, and this is the report title, all right? Firearms, assault rifles, assault shotguns, assault pistols, assault weapon attachments, 50 caliber rifles, magazine capacity, prohibition. The description of SB 3196 amends the prohibition on certain assault weapons to include assault rifles, assault shotguns, 50 caliber rifles, and assault weapon attachments. It modernizes the prohibition on assault pistols to include pistols with one or more prohibited feature. It expands the ban on pistols with a detachable magazine with over a 10-round capacity to any firearm with a detachable magazine with over a 10-round capacity. Prohibits persons from bringing or causing to be brought into the state an assault rifle or assault shotgun. Prohibits the sale or transfer of an assault rifle or assault shotgun in the state unless the assault rifle or assault shotgun is sold or transferred to an authorized individual. Creates exceptions for the acquisition and possession of prohibited firearms for members of law enforcement and the military. Now, the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is a lot of people have been talking in the last 48 hours, I would say, about, Hawaii making changes to their gun laws. They're saying that Hawaii has banned guns. You can't have guns in Hawaii anymore, all these different things. So, of course, the curiosity in me is like, let me go see what's going on over there, because Hawaii's always been kind of strict with their gun laws to begin with. Now, this is, I know y'all aren't going to be really able to see this, but this is, you guys can see right there from the Senate, 32nd Legislature, 2024, SB number 3196, a bill for an act. All right, you see here, state of Hawaii. And according to this, section 1, let me go down a little farther to explain why SB 3196 has been brought into place. And this is because of a gentleman who had a non-permitted weapon, and he was carrying it on him, and then got caught by being on somebody else's property, and Hawaii State Police, arrested him and everything else. And then he's basically trying to sue the state of Hawaii for whatever. I don't really know what the wording was there, but he was found to have an unlawful weapon on his person, and he was trying to say that because of the Constitution, he has the right to have the weapon on his person despite what the state laws are. And so SB 3196 came about because of this guy here, and I'm trying to get down to the part where it tells us exactly what happened. Because of him, a lot of changes have now been made and updated and clarified, so there is no confusion in the future for if you can have a gun or not have a gun in the state of Hawaii. So where is this thing? Y'all work with me here. Hopefully you guys are having a good Friday. It is Friday, my dudes. Okay, where are we? I think I'm almost there. This thing is like 75 pages long, and I couldn't save just the one part. I had to save the whole thing, and I don't know exactly where it is. Okay, so we'll just go from the top. F it. So this is relating to firearms. According to this, section 1, the legislature finds that the state has some of the strongest gun safety laws in the nation, talking about Hawaii. And in 2023, the state received an A- rating from the Giffords Law Center to prevent gun violence. Additionally, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the state had the third lowest number of gun deaths per capita in the nation in 2021. The legislature is committed to protect the safety and well-being of its citizens. However, the fact that Hawaii is the only state with an assault weapons ban that fails to ban assault rifles and assault shotguns is inconsistent with this commitment. All right, understand that. Accordingly, the purpose of this act too, the whole purpose of SB 3196 is this. Number 1, amend the prohibition on certain assault weapons to include assault rifles, assault shotguns, 50 caliber rifles, and assault weapon attachments. Number 2, modernize the prohibition on assault pistols to include pistols with one or more prohibited features. 3, expand the ban on pistols with a detachable magazine with over a 10-round capacity in a firearm. We've talked about this. 4, prohibit persons from bringing or causing to be brought into the state. 5, prohibit the sale or transfer of an assault rifle or assault shotgun in the state. 6, create exceptions for the acquisition and possession of prohibited firearms for members of law enforcement, right? Now, section 2, section 134-1, Hawaii revised statutes is amended as follows. These are the changes they have made. By adding 7 new definitions to be appropriately inserted and to read, antique firearm shall have the same meaning as provided in Title 18 United States Code Section 921A16. Assault rifle means a semi-automatic center fire rifle with an overall length less than 30 inches. 2, a semi-automatic center fire rifle that has a fixed magazine with the capacity to accept more than 10 rounds, except for an attached tubular device designed to accept and capable of operating only with 22 caliber rimfire ammunition. 3, a semi-automatic rifle that accepts a detachable magazine, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Folding, telescoping, thumb hole, or detachable stock, or a stock that is otherwise foldable or adjustable in a manner that operates to reduce the length, size, or any dimension, or otherwise enhances the concealability of the weapon. Pistol grips are also now gone. Any feature capable of functioning as a protruding grip that can be held by a non-trigger hand, gone. A flash suppressor, gone. A shroud that is attached to or partially or completely encircles the barrel and permits the shooter to hold the firearm with the second hand without being burned, but excluding a slide that encloses the barrel, gone. A bayonet mount, gone. A grenade launcher, gone. A threaded barrel capable of accepting a barrel extender, flash suppressor, forward hand grip, or silencer, gone. Now, according to this, any of the following rifles, copies, duplicates, variants, or altered facsimiles with the capabilities of any such weapon. A, all AK types. Every single AK type is now banned. Also, I'm going to have to put the link because there's so many different kinds on here that I don't even know how to say. We're going to have to... Ishmash, Maddie, Norenko, Poly Technologies, all these different AKs, right, are gone. And then ARs, all AR types, every single one. So including, y'all, all kinds of stuff. Colt match target rifles, Daniel Defense M4A1 rifles, Devil Dog Arms 15 series, Diamondback DB15 rifles, Double Star AR rifles, Jesse James Nomad, Olympic Arms, Rhino Arms AR rifles, Sig Sauer, Sig 516 rifles and MCX rifles, Smith & Wesson, Stag Arms, Sturm, Ruger & Co. All kinds of stuff here. Barrett, Beretta, all kinds of stuff. I'm going to have to put a link to this so you guys can read every single thing. All Thompson rifles, okay? So literally everything. Now, this says, but does not include a firearm that is unserviceable firearm or has been permanently inoperable, an antique firearm or a replica of an antique firearm, or a curio or relic, as those terms are used in 18 United States Code Section 921A13 or 27 Code of Federal Regulations, or a firearm that is manually operated by a bolt, pump, lever, or slide action. So does not include those things. Those things are still safe. And then assault shotgun means a semi-automatic shotgun that has one or more of the following characteristics. A, accepts a detachable magazine. B, has a revolving cylinder, so no revolvers. C, a pistol grip or a thumb hold stock. D, any feature capable of functioning as a protruding grip. E, a folding or thumb hold stock. F, a grenade launcher. G, a mixed magazine with capabilities. And then any of the following shotguns, copies, duplicates, and then they just name a whole bunch of other stuff. All of these things have been banned, if you will, in Hawaii. Now, it's actually an extremely big deal for those people who want to participate in our constitutional right, our 2A. It is a massive deal that this has now been passed, and I wish I could find the part, but it's so much. Of what the guy and why this all came about. So I'm going to have to put a link to this in the description so you guys can read it, because there's way too much going on here to try to read it all to you. Where is the other one? Hold on. I'm trying to find, I have like 17 different links here. Y'all know how I work. So I'm trying to find the one. This is from courts.state.hi.us. For a publication in West Hawaii Reports and Pacific Reporter. This was electronically filed with the Supreme Court on February 7th at 9:05. This is what I was talking about. So this is the reason all of this is happening, because of this Christopher Wilson gentleman, man. He is the defendant. Appeal from the Circuit Court of the Second Circuit on February 7th. This is, let's see. Hold on, why in the we hold that in Hawaii, there is no state constitutional right to carry a firearm in public. The state appeals an order dismissing two place to keep offenses, Hawaii revised statutes and some other stuff. This is the one I was talking about. They're challenging this guy standing that he had the right to have a pistol on him out and about, even though he did not have a permit for it. So what we said in the beginning, you can have an open carry in Hawaii, but you have to have a permit for it. And if you don't have a permit for it, then you can't open carry. And this guy technically had a gun in his waistband, which isn't technically open carry, that's concealed carry, but he still had no permit. And now he's fighting the Hawaii legal system about it and lost by what is about to happen here. Let me explain to you what just happened. This came out 23 hours ago. And I know I'm not very good at talking about this stuff. I don't know exactly how to convey everything that's going on when it comes to the gun laws in Hawaii. So if I sound a little, it's not on purpose. It's just, it's a lot of information and a lot of letters and numbers and codes and whatever else. So I'll put a link to every single one of these in the video once I'm home on my computer. But this right here from governor.hawaii.gov, this is from the office of the governor. You guys can see, right? You can read that. If not, I'm going to read it to you so you're okay. This says, this is on February 8th. Attorney General Lopez hails Hawaii Supreme Court decision upholding constitutionality of place to keep firearms laws. Now, this says here, this is for immediate release. This was on January 7th. Attorney General Ann Lopez today praised the Hawaii Supreme Court for its decision to uphold the constitutionality of state place to keep firearm laws, which generally prohibit carrying a firearm in public unless licensed to do so. In a unanimous opinion authored by Justice Todd Edens in State v. Wilson, which is the gentleman I was telling you about, the court reaffirmed that under the Second Amendment, states retain the authority to require that individuals have a license before carrying firearms in public. Moreover, the court explained that because the defendant in this litigation made no attempt to get a license, he cannot claim the law's application procedures are unconstitutional as applied to him. The Hawaii Supreme Court also rejected the suggestion that the Hawaii Constitution independently bars the state of Hawaii from enacting and enforcing important gun safety legislation at the state level. The court explained that the Hawaii Constitution does not afford a right to carry firearms in public places for self-defense. You heard that. You heard that, right? The court noted that the words of the Hawaii Constitution confer a right to keep and bear arms in the context of a well-regulated militia. This language, read in light of Hawaii's long history of protective firearm laws, excludes an individual right to carry deadly weapons in public under the Hawaii Constitution. This is a landmark decision that affirms the constitutionality of crucial gun safety legislation. This is according to Attorney General Lopez. Gun violence is a serious problem, and common sense tools like licensing and registration have an important role to play in addressing that problem. More broadly, Justice Eden's thoughtful and scholarly opinion for the court provides an important reminder about the crucial role that state courts play in our federal system. We congratulate our friends and partners at the Department of the Prosecuting Attorney for the County of Maui for their work on this important case, again, said Attorney General Lopez. And again, this was because of this guy, this Wilson guy, who had a gun on his person, and he was on somebody's property. That person saw him and two other gentlemen on his property, called the police. The police showed up. They get to this Wilson guy. He says, hey, I've got a gun in my waistband, and everything went to shit after that because he did not have a permit for this gun. He then made it so that the Hawaii legislators, the Supreme Court in Hawaii, re-looked at everything they have going on with these gun laws and said, hey, listen, no, he does not have the right to carry just because it's, a constitutional thing. The state gets to decide what happens per state. And our state, meaning Hawaii, has decided that you must have a license in order to carry in any public place. But we don't want anybody to carry in any public place. So we're not going to give any licenses or permits. Therefore, you cannot carry. They've made it so you have to have a thing, but they refuse to give you a thing. Therefore, the thing does not exist. You see what's happening there? And I feel like you're going to see that more and more. Like we said already, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, I think it said Massachusetts, California, Iowa, I think I got all of them right, are already states that do not allow firearms, that have the biggest bans on firearms, whereas New Hampshire is willy-nilly with it. Go live your best life. They'll let you do whatever you want. You're going to see more and more states, I believe, trying to sway people with their thoughts on gun laws or lack of gun laws, especially, again, as the election is coming up. Gun laws, they're a huge part of every election, every single election, and leading up to it every single time. Doesn't even matter who's running. Doesn't matter if it was Hillary Clinton, if it's Trump, if it was Bill Clinton, if it was George Bush, if it was Ross Perot, if it was, anybody else. Everybody has some sort of thought process on guns, and a lot of times they are aimed at what they think their constituents will vote for. Not even what they actually want most of the time. It's what they think the people will vote for in the state they happen to be in. If you're a far left versus far right, if you are more conservative versus more liberal, if you're whatever, it's going to determine how your politicians talk to you. That's normally how it works out. We've seen politicians flip-flop back and forth. Right now, with the people who are in power in Hawaii, this is what they have decided. Guns are not allowed. You have to have a license and whatever else. You can't buy or anything or sell anything without being permitted, and they're not going to permit you to buy or sell or anything. So although they have not technically said they are a banned guns place, right? They haven't really truly said that they are a gun-free state, but they have made it so they are a gun-free state by not allowing anybody to go through the loopholes that are necessary to own the guns, to have the guns, to sell the guns, to transfer the guns, to use the guns, all these other things. So when you look at it like that, it looks a little shady, if you ask me, a little shisty, but that's how they get away with it. And you're going to see more and more states, I think, either going extremely far with it where you cannot have anything to protect yourself, or they're going to be very, very on the other side of it with have as many as you want, open carry your rifles wherever you want to go, keep that AK, keep that AR, whatever you want to do. You want a grenade launcher, take it with you to Walmart. Like, you're going to have the extremes on both ends the farther along this whole thing goes with the divide on should we or shouldn't we be able to protect ourselves. Because a lot of the people who are complaining about, gun laws and how guns should be banned, they don't care about us protecting ourselves, because if they did, they would let us have our constitutional rights, right? They are worried that it would be easy for the citizens to rise up and overtake. That's what it really comes down to, because they're not going after the criminals who have the guns illegally. They're going after the law-abiding citizens who want to have the guns to protect themselves, protect their businesses, protect their homes, protect their families. That's the people they're going after, because those are the people they really have to worry about, because those are the people who will stand up against them, not the criminals. The criminals could give two shits about the government and whatever else, and trying to do what's right and make sure the government works for us instead of us working for the government, like unfortunately we do right now. So the states that ban these things, in my personal opinion, again, this is my personal opinion, are the states that are most worried about people overthrowing them. So there's that. That's my thought process on that. People wanted to know what was going on in Hawaii. There you go. I'm going to give you the links to everything, and you can thank Mr. Wilson for the updated constitutional stuff in Hawaii, because of his being caught on somebody else's property with a handgun in his waistband. Here we are. So that's that. Listen, Squirrel Tribe, thanks for letting me have this conversation with you. I love you immensely. I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.